Yeah, really important for us. I think, as I said, that's part of our DNA and mentality. I think, being invincible during the season won't bring us any trophy, but I think it's more like to show the mentality, the right mentality we have as competitors. I think, I just mentioned like I'm lucky enough to have players in my squad who are competitors as much as myself and the staff. And I think that's really important to make sure if we can break records, we just go for that. Again, we want to stay unbeaten, but before the game, I told my players, staying unbeaten, it's a good thing, but I want to make sure we come here with the right mentality to win the game and get the 3 points, because I also know we can break records with a number of points top of the table. So that's also for what you want to play every time you step on the pitch.
I was going to ask about that. How important is to be breaking these WSL records for you?
That's important because that's part of history, and I think when you are a player or when you are manager and you are still doing the job, maybe it's not the best time for you to reflect, but I know later it will be part probably of the history, and that's always nice to be part of history in women's football. So when you have the opportunity to do that, just go for it.
Helen, can we come to you next?
I'm not going to ask you about Barcelona today. Exactly rude. I'm wondering if you're using these last few games to look at the whole squad and look at what you need to do during the summer in terms of people that might be cleared out and where you need to bring new players in.
Yeah, I think today was the opportunity for me to rotate massively and to have some answer from some of my players, for sure. Give them the opportunity to also show themselves for the FA Cup final, because that's always good for everyone to have the opportunity to perform and to show the manager they are ready to compete for that last game. I think even before this game, I already had a lot of answer. I said we are in a really good place with the double. We want to fight for the treble, but I already have a lot of answer for the future. I know exactly what changes we need to make in the club, not only about the squad, but also in terms of infrastructures and some other things to make sure we compete against Barcelona.
And the last question is, it feels like Spurs have made quite a bit of it, even though they're really low down the table, almost as low as you can get. It feels like they played a lot better today than they did last time they played you, and they seem to have got more fluency. I don't know if you'd agree.
Yeah, I agree with that. Probably also because this game didn't have any pressure on the results. So I think in terms of mental, sometimes for some players it's difficult to perform when you know you are under the pressure of the result. So they have probably more freedom mentally. But also I think the difference today in terms of result was probably Anhampton making some great saves again and allowing us to keep the clean sheet, because in this game I think we scored in a PK penalty, but they had opportunities to score as well. So I think that's probably the small details who make the difference at the end of the game in the result.
Both goalkeepers played really well, actually.
Yeah, they had a great game both, yeah.
I think it was Hannah's 50th appearance today as well for us.
Okay, so good, yeah.
Abby, thanks.
Hi. Sorry, can you repeat this one? Yeah. Oh yeah, Lola, yeah. Lola is feeling fine, as you can imagine, being a youngster and being able to come in a game in the league with Chelsea. I think it's just great for her. As I mentioned earlier in the season, she's practicing with us since the beginning of the season. She's doing well. And I think it was also for me today the opportunity to give her some minutes in the game and to just show her how much I trust her. So I think it's always good for her to get that minutes to be involved in the game with the first team.
Catherine, next, and then Sandra, thank you.
Hi. Yeah, I think that's really important for different reasons, but first of all for them individually. I think, as you just mentioned, these two players were the ones who played the most minutes with the club from the beginning of the season. I think it was the only opportunity I had to give them that rest in terms of physical aspects, but also mental aspects, and that's also always good for us to be able to win games without these two big leaders in the team in the pitch. So actually, yeah, it was really positive for that two reasons. But yeah, I'm really pleased I could have done that with them, and I think it was a rest well deserved from them. Yeah. Yeah, I think when you reflect on Qatar, the really positive thing is she's been playing consistent minutes with the team, and she's been able to take the loading in training sessions and games. I think, yeah, it's fair enough to say she's still building on her fitness and the fact she can play consistent minutes with probably more high intensity. But that's something we are working on. And Kata is a wonderful player. Just because she wants to progress, she's always asking for more. She has the right mentality. She works hard. So it's really nice for us as a staff to work with her. And she's going in the right direction.
Thanks, Catherine. Sandra?
Hi.
I'm just going to ask, obviously, another win. It's, one more win away from, as you say, going invincible. How important is that, just in terms of just keeping that momentum going, particularly, I guess, psychologically, the kind of thing of Man United facing a team that hasn't lost a game in the league? But then I also wanted to ask you, what do you feel have been the key learnings for you in your job, throughout the journey so far for you?
Yeah, I would say in terms of mentality, going into the FA Cup final against Man United will be good if we stay unbeaten. Because, yeah, in terms of psychological advantage, it's really important. But the final will be 50-50 for sure. But it gives us a lot of confidence, good momentum, good rhythm going into that game. So, as I said, 2 more to go. Yeah, we want to stay unbeaten and we want to make sure we get the 3 points next week to be in the best position to go into the FA Cup final. And the biggest learnings from me as a manager, I would say, tough season, even if everyone thinks it was easy for us, but tough because when you come as a new manager with the barrier language, first of all, that's never easy. I think from my press conference, my first press conference and this one, I made a lot of improvement. But yeah, every day with the barrier language, you have to make sure you get everything right, but also transition period for the club. And I think this transition, maybe people thinks it was easy because we managed to win and to get the title in the league. But Emma left. She was the manager for 12 years in this club. She left with some great people in the staff and we had to build everything. So I want to have thinking for Paul Green because he did a wonderful job on making sure he brought the right people, and this transitional period was a good one. But yeah, actually it was a lot of energy for us. I remember all the time I spent with all the staff making sure they understand my game model, how I want to work every day in the building, what type of environment I want to bring in the building. And it takes a lot of time and energy. So I still think this first season has been incredible, but we still have a lot of room for improvement. So that's for the future really positive. But yeah, really tough again, because I remember we played many teams where before the game, 1 week before, they changed their manager. And we had to watch multiple games to make sure we were ready to perform against them. Nick Cushin, when he came in before the 4 games against Man City, I remember I told all my staff, analysis and the technical staff, we shared all the games when he was the New York manager, and we watched so many games from him when he was there to make sure we were prepared going into that games. I remember also, when Arsenal changed their manager, Renée Slager, she came in and didn't change a lot in terms of philosophy, but it's always something different. And some of the staff or manager changed before our games. So actually it was a lot of work. Now I can say I'm really proud of all my staff, all my players, because in internal it was not that easy. Thank you.
Ishan, thank you.
Hi.
Congratulations on winning the WSL.
Thank you.
You spoke about your learnings and you mentioned a lot of the challenges that you faced in your first year in this league. I wanted to ask you about some of your favorite moments across this league season that stand out to you.
I would say maybe the first one was when we were able to beat Arsenal away at Emirates Stadium. I think from my team and my players, it was something really great in terms of performance and confidence, because I remember before the game, some of my players were mentioning the fact it has been a long time we were not able to beat them at Emirates. And I was like, I don't care, I'm new. And that's not the case for me. So we just go into the game and we are going to win. So I was trying to bring them the confidence they needed. Special moment was also when we were able to face Man City 4 times. And at the end, we were able to get good results from that 4 games. The game we had against Man City in the league at Stamford Bridge, in terms of sharing emotions with our fans, was really great. Probably these ones are the biggest ones.
And I wanted to ask you about Sonia Bompastor today, who played at centre back and was brilliant again. Her adaptability seems like it's such an asset. She can play all across midfield and now in defence as well. We saw last year her play as a striker. How good is it to have a player like that who's not only so adaptable but is willing to play in any position that you ask him?
Really important for me because it just shows her mentality. She's a team player, and I remember yesterday before the training session, I spoke with her just to make her aware she was going to play that position. It took for me 2 minutes because really easy. She was like, okay. I was, do you want me to share more about what I expect from you on that position? She was, I think I'm good enough. We'll see on the pitch. And if I have some questions, I just come back to you. So 2 minutes, she was happy, just happy to play 90 minutes. And I think, that's really nice for a manager to have players who are able to play different positions, but also to perform in different positions.
You mentioned the mentality, and this team is often called, mentality monsters. Do you think that this winning mentality is something that these players are born with, or is something that you can build over your own game?
Good question. I would say for most of people, if you are born with this mentality, it's a lot easier because I think it's probably not something you can teach to everyone. But maybe for young players, being part of this environment with this winning mentality is something good for them to learn. When we talk about leading by example, I think, when you have this type of leaders in your team, for the young players who come in this environment, they quickly understand how they need to go, what level they need to perform to make sure they can stay in this club and in this team. Thank you.
Tom, thank you. Okay, nice.
Thank you.
Good questions, Ishan. Any more for any more? All right, cool.
Okay, cool.
We'll leave it there. Thanks very much.
Thank you.